it is not often, and by not often I mean never, that we actually have a doctor on the program. So let's welcome in Dr. Rich Steiner. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jeff. You know what? Rich is just fine.
Listen, if I've got a doctor on here, I'm going doc all day long.
Okay, all right.
We are low class around here, so we're just sprucing things up with your presence today. So we appreciate that. All right. Last year, before we turn our attention to this year, just a great season that just came up just short in Evansville, certainly against Murray State in the championship game, but you make it all the way to the WBIT championship. Just what was the being able to go to Butler and play in there, and you get all the way to the end, and it just seemed like, boy, you'd love to go into the NCAA tournament, but what an experience to be able to get all the way to the end there.
Yeah, it's one of those really memorable experiences for me. First of all, it's hard to lose in that conference tournament, especially in what has traditionally been a one-bid league. So that was a really difficult loss, and yet you really tip your hat to the Racers and Rochelle Turner and what she's done with that program. But then to get invited to WBIT and to make that run, it's one of the highlights of the career that I've had following and covering Belmont women's basketball. The quarterfinal game against James Madison, which was, I think, one of the first four out in their place, and Belmont goes up there and beats them by 45. Maybe the best 40 minutes of executing a game plan and just a great game in that quarterfinal. And then, like you say, to go to Butler in that legendary place and get a win over Villanova. And then, you face Minnesota, which is another one of those teams that should have been in the tournament. But what a great run, what a great memory, not only for me, but for those players in that team.
It's really been a great transition for the Bruins into the Missouri Valley Conference to grab a piece of the regular season championship first year in, second and third the last 2 years, but have not been able to kick in the door in the conference tournament to get back to the NCAA tournament, where the last 7 years in the Ohio Valley Conference to get to the NCAA tournament 6 times, just an incredible run, and just cannot kick the door in when you've been to the championship game 2 of the last 3 years. What's the, I don't know, frustration's maybe a strong word, but where's the mindset around the program of just like, we're so close, we just haven't been able to break through that glass ceiling yet?
Well, I don't know that I'll speak for the program. I'll speak for me. This is a really good league. Yeah. And, with Murray State and Belmont both joining the league at the same time, I think on the women's basketball side of things, I think that those two teams raised the level of the entire league. They've both had tremendous success in the short time being in the league, and I think they're going to continue to do that. I think it's going to be it's hard to win that championship. It's going to continue to be hard, but I think that Belmont's expectations, and I think Murray State's expectations, are that's what we're going for every single year is that conference championship.
Some big departures, a lot coming back, but some big departures, certainly including Kendall Cheeseman, who was a first-team all-league player a season ago. Kendall Holmes as well. Cheeseman was a 12.9 rebound a game kid. Again, first-team all-conference. What does her graduation void mean to this program this season?
Well, I think a lot, and I think both of the players that you mentioned, that's two of the best shooters on that team last year. You don't normally think of a 6'2" post player as being one of your best shooters, but Kendall Cheeseman just has, you can see if you're watching the video here, you can see that release. It's just a picture perfect shot. Such great form. And both the Kendalls were just such incredible shooters. So I think, you certainly have some game to make up there in terms of distance scoring. But I think that, you've got some young players coming back. You've got a transfer coming in as bigs and then some freshmen coming in. that, I think Bart Brooks is going to come into the league pretty well stocked again this year.
It has been remarkable consistency over the last decade for this program. Certainly, the young ladies that are coming back, and certainly you've got two all-league kids and Tootie Jones and Jalen Banks, third team all last year, all Valley last year. Tootie on the all-defensive team as well. Let's start with Tootie. What does she bring to this program with her skill set?
Tootie is Belmont's version of Macy Turley. It seems like Tootie has been at Belmont forever. I think Macy Turley is one of the great stories of women's college basketball in the last 50 years. To play for the same head coach for 10 years between high school and college is a remarkable story. And Tootie has that kind of longevity. She's a floor general. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody that plays harder than Tootie does. Her basketball IQ is off the charts. Her mom's a coach, and you can tell she plays like a coach would play. She's like another coach out there on the floor. Such a good defensive player, but it's not all defense with Tootie either. She can shoot the ball as well. She usually ends up having the defensive assignment for the number one scorer on the opposition. And so her focus from the beginning of the game is typically going to be defense, but she'll get her chances and she'll put it in the hole for you as well.
She's been in school long enough; she could be Dr. Jones soon enough, seemingly.
Jalen
Banks as well, just one of the young budding stars in this league. Where do you see her maybe taking a leap this year, hopefully, for the Bruins?
I think part of it is going to be leadership, and part of it, I think, as she enters her third season, I think that Jalen, and again, I don't want to speak for Jalen, but just from my perspective, I think that Jalen's going to come in with a boatload of confidence, not really feeling like she has anything to prove. We know she's a great ball handler, unbelievable ball handler. She can create space and drive as well as anyone. And I think that maybe coming in with more confidence that she doesn't have a lot to prove other than just going out and doing what she's already proven that she can do. And so I kind of see Jalen taking a pretty big leap this year and actually finishing a lot of things that she starts out there on the floor.
In terms of the additions, seems almost rare nowadays that you would bring in 5 freshmen into the program. That's kind of a big number in the transfer portal era. But boy, if you can get those kids in young and develop them into what you want in your program and all that, awesome. The one seemingly big addition coming from nearby Knoxville, the ace Avery Strickland coming in. 5'10" guard, spent the last 2 years at Tennessee. There seems to be some hope and expectation maybe around the ace that she's going to be, hasn't had a lot of maybe on the court success, but there's enough pedigree there that, boy, you think Bart Brooks is going to be able to just squeeze every drop of success out of her she can.
Yeah, I think that most people close to particularly women's basketball understand what I'm about to say. For Missouri Valley Conference fans, this will be a new face, and they'll look at numbers from Tennessee and so forth and Pitt. But for people that are close to the game, they know that Bart Brooks has had his eye on her for a long, long time. Yeah. And he knows her and her skill set very, very well. And I can tell you about Bart. He doesn't just bring in, whether it's transfers or freshmen, he doesn't just bring in the players that are that have a certain skill set. He really focuses on the whole person, the young lady that's going to fit character-wise, that's going to fit as a teammate, and kind of do things the Belmont way. And I think that's a formula, if I can use the word formula, that's worked really well at Belmont, and certainly it has for Bart Brooks. You mentioned the 5 freshmen. I don't think Bart brings in 5 freshmen anticipating or hoping that 2 or 3 of them stick. I think he brings in 5 freshmen assuming that 5 freshmen are going to be at Belmont their entire time. Now, that doesn't always happen. Belmont's got a pretty good track record in the transfer situation both ways. Not a lot of transfers out, frankly, not a lot of transfers in, but it's been more based on the fit. And I think his plan for those 5 players is that they're going to be 4-year players at Belmont. They're going to be, that group that gets built on over the next 4 years. And Bart's the kind of coach that, now this is me talking. Players love playing for Bart. He's just he's such a, not only is he a great basketball mind, but he's just a really good guy. And the players absolutely love playing for him. He's very even keeled. He's demanding, but in an even keeled way. And the players know they're going to learn a lot from him. They're going to have a great chance at success with him. And so, I think those 5 players, he's looking at them to just continue building the program the way he's been building it for a number of years.
10 years in a row with at least 20 wins is just, and it's not just, hey, we got 20 or 21. I mean, there's some mid to uppers, and we've got a 31-4 in there as well. Started with Cameron Neubauer, but Coach Brooks has ripped that off 8 years in a row. It's easy to just kind of, I don't know, write it off isn't the right way to put it, but just like, hey, it's Belmont. The machine keeps going, and they just keep plugging out 20 wins a year, and they're always kind of be there. But it's not easy, especially in this era of college, in any era of college basketball, to be that good every single year. What is, from your seat around the program, what is the secret sauce that Bart Brooks brings that he has been able to just have this consistent level of significance in whatever league they may happen to be playing in?
Well, I think it's pretty simple to see, Jeff. He schedules a lot of really bad teams. Okay, that was a little joke. No, I don't know anyone that puts together a schedule as difficult as Bart does, and yet he still continues to maintain that success. I think there's a lot of things. I mean, okay, I've already said Bart's a great coach. He's a great recruiter. He's a really, he's just a really good guy, and so players love playing for him. When you're recruiting, existing players are very open about that with recruits. But I think, in all honesty, I think it goes even beyond Bart. And I'll brag. I'm retired from Belmont as far as my time as a professor. Belmont's a great institution. It's a great university in a great city, tremendous location. If you're standing on the top step of our administration building and look north, you're looking down Music Row. And so it's a tremendous location. And so when you mix all the things, and we still believe in the old student part of the student athlete and the student athlete experience. And so when you look at the whole package, you've got a basketball team with a good track record, with a great culture, and then you're also in a great city at a great university. If I'm 18 years old, I'm looking at that and going, what a tremendous opportunity. And so I think the whole package is part of it. I think it starts with Bart at this point in our history. It starts with Bart, but I don't think the greatest coaches in the world will have a hard time recruiting to a place that's not a good place to go to school.
I'm going to go over your schedule game by game, and I don't do that with everybody, at least saying all 11 schools, because as you mentioned, this schedule is, this is, I don't know if this is just you're just walking into we can use all kinds of analogies we probably don't need to use here, but this is ridiculous. And in this next breath, it's almost a dream at a mid-major level to be able to get this many power schools to be able to play you, to have home games with Brown and the big rivalry with Lipscomb, a good Princeton team, Kentucky and Duke coming to the Curb Center. You're going to the Bahamas to play Ohio State and then either West Virginia or McNeese, and then on the road at Oklahoma, at Tennessee, at Dayton, at Middle. Holy shnikes. And look, and he has said, it's fine that we get these games. We got to win one of these games at some point too. And they have been so close. And maybe that's what, just keeping them from getting to that at large. You were 51 in the net last year. You're kind of around the hoop with that. But what stands out about this schedule this year? And this isn't a one-time thing. He's been doing this for years. But this year's schedule, what jumps out at you from what he's got on the board?
Really, two things to me are remarkable about this schedule. Number one, and you mentioned it, the teams, the Power Fours that are coming to Nashville. It's one thing to get a team to play you at their place, but it's another thing to get a home and home with those schools. And Bart's just done an incredible job, and I think it speaks a lot, to his character in terms of the respect that other coaches have for him around the country, that they're willing to do that. And, and it's also a nice trip for their team to come to Nashville and spend a couple of days in Nashville. So to get those schools to come to Belmont and play a road game against the Bruins, I think is the first remarkable thing. The other thing, and you alluded to this as well, Bart doesn't schedule these games and go in and say, well, we're going to lose 11. He schedules these games assuming we're going into every one of these games with the mindset that we're going to come out with a win. That's his point of view. And they have been so close on so many, not every time. There have been a few, but I'll tell you, when Belmont loses one of those that's not as close as Bart would like it to be, it's as hard as a loss to Murray State in the conference tournament, because he wants the team to perform well. He wants the team to have a shot at winning that thing when it's over. So every one of those games is on there as a game that he views as a potential win.
Do we have our passport for the Bahamas ready to go? You getting to go to that?
I'm not going to that.
Oh, no.
It's a combination of things. I'll be doing those games remote. It's really as much about logistics as anything else, and
I get it.
And so I'll let the ladies enjoy their time without the old man on the trip, and I'll do those games remote. But I've been on a couple of those trips in years past, and they're an awful lot of fun. But I'll spend Thanksgiving at home too. So see, there's a benefit for
there.
Me
you go.
too.
There you go. Dr. Rich Tyner, radio voice of the Belmont Women's Basketball Program. Thank you so much for the time today, and enjoy the season. And hopefully we can catch up again soon.
Thank you, Jeff. Enjoyed being with you.